Madison County, Mississippi has fabulous shopping, sweet boutiques, unique history, and community adventures. This quiet county lies close to the state capital, and though it offers all of the excitement and opportunities of a big city, it has stayed a humble community with great purpose. Among the petrified forests, excellent outdoor sports opportunities, fantastic fishing, and secret taverns, there are mysteries and legends. Built in 1852, the Chapel of the Cross Cemetery and Sanctuary has become the perfect place to find sorrow, rest, and ghost. This Gothic structure has beautiful arches, stained glass windows, and a bell tower. Though hauntingly beautiful and tragic, it is also a symbol of eternal love. Usually, the idea of a bride brings forth images of a beautiful woman in white, bouquets of fresh flowers, and happy couples. Unfortunately, death separated Helen, Johnstone, and Henry Gray Vick of Nita Yuma before they could say I do. Henry's family was well known and popular, having settled the town of Vicksburg, Mississippi. Helen was considered a beautiful Southern debutante who had fallen in love at 16 years old, but waited to marry at a mature age of 20. As Helen planned her wedding for May of 1859, her fiancé Henry decided to travel for his bachelor party, leaving her behind to finish the final preparations. Her mother and father, John Taylor and Margaret Louisa Thomas Johnstone, helped their daughter as she planned her future, not knowing that everything would come to a heartbreaking standstill. Rumor states that as Henry Vick sat in a bar in Mobile, Alabama, sipping a foamy beer and waiting to play a game of billiards, his best friend by the name of James Sith challenged him to a duel. Henry, drunken and looking for some form of entertainment after an argument with James, accepted. Henry shot into the air, having promised his future wife never to kill another man. Unfortunately, James aimed and fired. While many versions of the story exist, many believe the tragic fight involved stolen money and jealousy. Just 4 days before Helen planned to become Mrs. Henry Vick, she received word that her beloved had lost his life at the end of a bullet. Henry's body was transported back to Mansdale, Mississippi, to Annandale Cemetery after a few stops in New Orleans and Vicksburg. As the community came to help the family grieve, they lit their lanterns and lined the leaf-covered road that led to the cemetery. Wearing her wedding dress and a long black veil, Helen walked down the aisle to place her beloved in his final resting place. Her parents physically supported her as her cries of anguish washed away the sounds of the night. The midnight hour struck as the coffin was slowly lowered into the ground, officially making the date May 21st, 1859, which was the planned wedding day and Helen's birthday. Worried for her fragile state, Helen's family promised to bury her next to Henry when she died. Unfortunately, this is one promise they did not keep. Grief-stricken, Helen placed an iron bench near Henry's grave so she could visit him regularly. Her love for Henry never died, and so she often returned to the land of tombstones and mourners. Records show that Helen eventually married Reverend George Carroll Harris, but her commitment to Henry lived long after she passed from this world. Visitors to the cemetery claim to hear a woman weeping. A figure in a white wedding dress can be seen sitting on the bench near Henry's grave as her soft voice speaks to the man she almost married. Some people have claimed that they heard the traditional wedding march playing softly as twilight and footsteps grow closer to the clustered graves. Some visitors claim to have heard organ music. Others say they've witnessed blood pools form on the chapel floor. Other ghosts are in the graveyard and church, but none are as famous as Helen. This location has become a hotspot for ghost hunters and orb seekers. While sympathy for Helen followed her throughout her life, there are whispers of an unhappy existence due to tragedies. Many claim she pined for Henry, always wishing to be near him. However, the life she built with Reverend Harris took her to Rolling Fork, Mississippi, where she bore 3 children named George Parsons, George Carroll, and Helen Johnstone Harris. The oldest child passed away within a few days of birth. Her father purchased the land, calling it the Helen Place. And in 1896, Helen and George built Mount Helena as a place to live out their days in retirement. In the middle of the cornfields, surrounded by rich fields of harvest and promise, the couple built their dream home on top of a large and ancient Native American burial mound. Though the house still stands today and can be toured, the first attempt at building the home burned to the ground. Many believe the home should be closed to tours and the land should be rededicated to the people buried there. On March 24, 2023, shortly after 8 p.m., Rolling Fork was struck by a destructive and deadly EF4 tornado with winds of 195 miles per hour. The tornado formed from a supercell thunderstorm in northern Issaquena County, moving northeast into Rolling Fork. The tornado killed 17 people in Rolling Fork and nearby Midnight and Silver City, while injuring 165 more. Mount Helena received no damage, but the rest of the town was severely destroyed, leaving many areas flattened and empty. Some residents see the homes as a beacon of hope, while others do not. Even here, amid cotton, corn, and beans, the haunting sounds of history can be heard. Visitors to the historic location claim to hear ghost trains, mysterious voices, the hammering of metal against metal, and a woman in white weeping. Perhaps the loss of Henry followed Helen past her death and into eternity, or maybe Helen continues to mourn the life that could have been, or perhaps true love is like a ghost, which everyone talks about and few have seen, including Helen.